Ask Chop Anything. This is the series that I stole from Sante Zap, where you ask me questions about wrestling, life, anything in between, and I answer them. Let's get started. We got Ahmed Ryan. What are the 3 worst booking decisions in WWE history? Ooh, instantly, the worst ever booking decision to me is Undertaker losing the streak. I think he should have just retired with the streak, or at the very least, Brock Lesnar did not need it. He just did not need it. It helped him, but no. I would have much rather somebody be 24-0, 25-0 at WrestleMania. Bad call there. It created a moment, but just because it creates a moment doesn't mean it's a good booking decision. That leads us to John Cena tapping out. That's number 2 for me. I know it might be recency bias, but I just don't think he should have tapped out. I think he should have. It's okay for him to lose, but not by a tap out. I mean, I didn't like when Gunther tapped out to Jey Uso. Gunther could have lost at WrestleMania, but he shouldn't have tapped out in 2 seconds, and John Cena shouldn't have tapped out here. But that's the Gunther Jey Uso is not number 3, though. If we were talking WCW, I'd probably say David Arquette, but we're talking WWE. Hindsight is 2020. Goldberg, surprise, Goldberg in a bad booking decision. Goldberg beating Kevin Owens for the Universal title when Kevin Owens and Chris Jericho had the hotter story. Goldberg went into WrestleMania to fight Brock Lesnar at that point, and their feud was so hot that it didn't need the title. And as a result, Kevin Owens, Chris Jericho, that is what butterflied effect the creation of AEW, because Chris Jericho got upset that his storyline was overshadowed, that he basically left the company and he went to New Japan, got into a program with Kenny Omega, which Tony Khan saw and was like, you know what? There's money to be made as a number 2 wrestling company. Here's Mickey. I know it's early, but do you have the men's and women's Money in the Bank winners? I would tell you mine, but honestly, I've got nothing. I'm setting myself up for failure, but I think this is the year that they pull the trigger on LA Knight finally. I really do. LA Knight wins, and Sol Ruca will win the women's. Sol Ruca wins the women's. Ooh, Roxanne Perez. Sol Ruca. We're going Sol Ruca. Very high on her. Everybody is, it seems. So, LA Knight finally, 4 years too late, but better late than never, I guess. Raina Rep says, what is your current job, and do they know you're trying to quit YouTube and do full time? My current job is I'm a restaurant GM, and yes, they do know I am trying to quit. I tell people exactly where I stand. I'm a straight shooter. Bang, bang. And I told my boss I am actively trying to quit. However, I also told her that I will never leave her in a bad position. So, if magically, suddenly, every one of my videos started getting 10,000 views, and I was able to quit my day job, because that's the magic number. It's not subscribers, it's views. 10,000 views per video on average will allow me to quit my job. And if I were to suddenly get that, like tomorrow, I would go to my boss and tell her, hey, listen, I want to quit. I will stay here as long as it takes for you to find a replacement. I will not screw my boss over. She is an awesome and an amazing person, but I hate the job, and she knows I hate the job. So, boys, girls, please comment, subscribe, and hit that bell, ding, 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 notification, and please, for the love of God, watch the videos. Just mute the videos, I don't care, let them play. Daniel Kinser, how do you think 2026 through the next 5 years of wrestling will be? Or will it get worse? I am very, very afraid that the next 5 years that we will, that WWE will be sold to Saudi Arabia. I don't want any government. So, please don't think I don't want Saudi Arabia to own WWE. I don't want any government to own WWE. Honestly, I don't want any company to own WWE like TKO. I much rather it be, I will never forgive Vince McMahon for selling to TKO. I so wish he would have gave it to Stephanie. I really do. I think Triple H would not be the giant jerk that he is right now if it was a private company, or at least like, privately owned still. But I think Triple H just knows how to play the game. And so he's either going to be super cool when he would have been super cool if it was just him and Stephanie at top, or he's going to be a corporate suck up if somebody else, if there's a board of directors. If we do not have a season 3 of Unreal, I think WWE can get back on track. I think that there are outside factors that made 2025 not great. And I hope that Unreal is like done. And that sucks and pains me to say because I was on Unreal Season 1. I wish I could love Unreal. I really do. It was one of the greatest highlights of my YouTube career, being on Unreal. But at the end of the day, I can see that it did more damage than good. And I think that if we don't have a Season 3 of Unreal, Triple H can just focus on the product. But over 5 years, oh my gosh. I think unless I think it's I don't have high hopes. Let's just say that. I hope I'm wrong. I didn't think we'd get to the heights that we ever did again with 2023-24. Like, that was great stuff. In 2019, I never thought we'd get to the heights of 2023-2024. So, like, right now, in the midst of 2025 poor booking, I'm like, yeah, we'll never get back up there, but I thought that in the past. Kicking it with Leo says, do you think Liv Morgan is long overdue for a Rumble or Chamber win? I absolutely do. Absolutely, because Liv Morgan seems to always be the bridesmaid and never the bride. She has been runner-up to the Rumble twice, maybe 3 times now. I can't remember what exact number it was. And last year, runner-up to the Elimination Chamber. I would much rather have Liv Morgan win it this year. I think it's going to be Bianca Belair, though. But I think it would be kind of cool if Liv Morgan won the Rumble and then Bianca won the Elimination Chamber. That'd be 2 years in a row for her. Teddy Boy Ward says, other than wrestling, my number one fun is music. I'm a 40-plus year devoted rockabilly fan. Favorite band is the Stray Cats. Chop, do you enjoy music too? What's your favorite genre and band? Okay, so lately, nowadays, I listen to mainly podcasts. I'll just, when I'm working out or doing walks, I don't really work out, but I do walks, I listen to podcasts. Or on the way to work, I listen to podcasts. However, my favorite band of all time is The Doors. The Doors. If you're liking The Doors, Jim Morrison, but you're still like scratching your head, they're from the 60s, late 60s, early 70s. They are my favorite band of all time. Honestly, every band in that era is my favorite era of music. Just like 60s and 70s rock and roll, that was my jam. And The Doors, the jam of jams. Malcolm Bowens, what's your top 5 underrated WWE theme songs? Underrated, there was this Christian music. It was like, Christian, and then like sparks would just like rain down. I thought it was so cool. Mattitude, when Matt Hardy broke up with Jeff Hardy, the first draft, and Matt just became this really obnoxious, self-centered person. He had Matt facts and stuff. The version 1, Matt version 1, Mattitude, that's number 2. American Made, it's Jason Jordan, Kurt Angle's illegitimate child, and Chad Gable. I really liked that song too. Great Khali actually has a really good song. Any song in the 80s at this point, they're pretty much all underrated. Like Demolition, a walking disaster. Here comes the axe, here comes the smasher. Or Big Boss Man from Cobb County, Georgia. Let's see, like, oh man, they were just so freaking good. Dusty Rhodes, he's a common man, working hard with his hands. Yeah, like any song in the 80s at this point is very much underrated. Back then, maybe not, but now definitely so. I'm the Mountie. I always get my man. I'm the Mountie. So that's 4. Let's just say 4 right there. Can I get a 5th one in? Jack Swagger. Actually, Jack Swagger's music definitely did not fit his character, but it was great. And what was that? We the People, they had really good. So I think that's 6. So there you go. Boom, right there. Undertaker, Ministry of Darkness, too. That was a really good one. Underrated Undertaker song there. So I hope you don't mind. I went a little over. Joe Litton, give me one advice from your experience in life. Ooh. Never have a regret, my friend. Never have a regret. It is better to fail than wonder what if. For real, man. Do not regret nothing. If you want to do it, try. Worst that can happen is you can fail. If you don't do it, then you fail without even starting. So, like, for real, always try. No matter what. Rania Design says, you seem so upset after LA Knight lost to Gunther. What did you do when you logged off? What helped you eventually get past the initial upset? Honestly, yeah, I was upset. Gunther tapped LA Knight out, and I couldn't talk. When I get super quiet, that means I'm like, that's the height of me being upset. The quieter I get, the more upset I am. I think I did the review. I went for a walk. And I went to bed. A lot of times I just need to get over it. Sometimes people will be surprised. They'll be like, why are you so upset or crashing out, or you being so negative? It's just, I had a bad day. Like that LA Knight thing made me in a bad mood. I'll be fine the next day or in 2 days, but like that made me upset, and I just need to sleep it off, honestly. Just need to sleep it off. When John Cena tapped out, that was a little worse, a lot worse. I remember when I turned that one off, I pretty much ugly cried. And then I went and did the review. If you go and watch my review of the John Cena Saturday Night's Main Event, you will see that my eyes are really puffy. I literally ugly cried after John Cena tapped out. And I know people are going to make fun of me or would make fun of me about that, and but I don't care. I love wrestling that much. Martin says, when did you decide to do YouTube, and when was the decision made you wanted to do YouTube full time? All right, so I've always tried to be creative. I've always tried to make my brain and my creativity pay the bills. And so I've tried, like, I could man, that could be a video on in of itself. But I started YouTube as a video game channel. It failed. I took some time off. I said I was done. I'm just gonna focus on making money in an actual job, like a restaurant GM. I was actually dating somebody, and she wanted to do a YouTube channel. And I really study things, right? Like, if I'm doing something, I go all in. I studied, I had all these things, all these methods, all like what you're supposed to do on YouTube. Not like it's helping me. I mean, look at me. I'm still trying to be full time. But I would tell her all these things and all these tips on how to get viewers, how to get subscribers, how to do that, all that stuff, right? And she was just like, why don't you do a YouTube channel? I was like, what would I do? The only thing I like now is wrestling. And she was like, do wrestling then. I was like, holy crap, I'm going to do wrestling. And, I just, as I started doing it more, I rekindled my love and passion for being creative, because I had dealt with some mental health issues, and that stuff really, really crippled me in the sense of I just was like creatively bankrupt. And when I got back into YouTube, within a month or two, like, it was like a rejuvenation. I remembered that, like, I loved being creative, interacting with people, and that this has sparked other areas of my life where I am creative. Like 3 months ago, I told you guys about an internet comedy called The Love Nest that I actually made in 2008. I've actually since gathered all the footage, and I'm like in the process of re-releasing it. Now I don't think anything's gonna happen about it, but it's still cool to have. I'm just like I'm back, baby. I'm back, and I love it. I enjoy it, and I really hope that I can take this full time because I do videos right now every single day. Can you imagine how I'm gonna do it if I didn't have that day job? Like, I think YouTubers, like, they rest on their laurels when they get success. Not me. When I do finally hit success, like, you guys are gonna get tired of me because I'm gonna be producing, like, I could literally do 2 videos a day. I'm not gonna, but I could. Maybe on Patreon. But, yeah. So, at some point in the first month or 2, I was like, what if I took this full time? What if I did it? What if I tried? And like I said to Joe Litton, don't live in regret. So I'm going to try with all my might to make this into my day job. Money on Repeat says, I believe you said you were in management. I am. Give me one piece of advice you always remember as management. Okay, so my advice is this. I am a GM, so I have a bunch of people who I am their boss. Be fiercely loyal to those people. You get them as much money as possible. Gift cards, here, there. You do everything in your power to make them happy. And then you also do everything in your power to make the person above you happy. Fiercely loyal to the person one rung above you. So my boss, she has a boss, and he has a boss, right? And I am in contact with those guys. But the person that I am most loyal to is just the person directly above me. She's the one that I'm going to go to bat for. If I need to lie for her, I'll lie for her. But just in case my boss's boss is watching, I've never done that before, okay? But yes, so one above you and everyone below you, you got to do everything in your power to be fiercely loyal to them. What they need, you do. And that also applies to anybody who is like in maintenance or janitorial or anything like that. You got to be super cool to them also. Always buy them food. Fresh and Fly says, Chop, have you ever been on a cruise? And if so, how was it? And also, should WWE do a cruise similar to Jericho's cruise for wrestling fans during the summer? I would love if they did a cruise. That'd be super cool, super sweet, but I don't see WWE doing it. I mean, who knows? Who knows? Maybe they will. If Big Daddy TKO thinks he can get an extra $5 in his pocket, I could see him doing it. Did you know that WWE had an opportunity? Chris Jericho, another factor into making Chris Jericho just say, you know what, screw it, I'm done with WWE, is he actually reached out and said, when he left, he reached out and said, WWE, can I use your NXT guys on my cruise? And WWE said no. And so that just furthered Jericho getting a strained relationship with WWE. But have I ever been on a cruise? No, but I want to. I really want to. I was 25 years old the last time I was able to go on vacation. I don't, I'm poor. I'm one of those people that I will work until I die. I will clock out for lunch and then I will die. Now, I mean, I do have PTO, personal time off. I do take a week off here and there. But when I do that, I literally just sit at home. Charger says, who got you into wrestling? Either the person or the wrestler, and who got you into YouTube? I would probably say Ultimate Warrior. It was WrestleMania 5, and I saw a commercial for it. I didn't know what it was. I asked my dad, what is this? He told me it was wrestling. He said, there's a pay-per-view tonight, and I was like, can we get it? And he said, yes. So my dad, if he would have said no to me, then I would not have seen wrestling. And then when I watched wrestling, I was enjoying it very much so. I still remember the Rockers fighting the Twin Towers, and the Powers of Pain fighting Demolition, the Strike Force, Tito Santana accidentally hitting Rick Martel, and then Rick Martel leaving him as he went for the tag. But it was the Ultimate Warrior when he ran out. That was the moment that I went from, this is interesting, to, oh my God, I love this. So Ultimate Warrior is the reason, and my dad for not for paying for this event that I had no idea what it was. The YouTuber that got me into wrestling YouTube, Simon Miller. Simon Miller on What Culture. I loved his up and downs reviews, and just how positive he is, and just how funny he is, and just like the little nuances he says, and he actually still does What Culture, ups and downs and other videos there, and he has his own channel. And to this day, I do watch Simon Miller. A lot of times we have different opinions, but he's like, I really enjoy his opinion nonetheless. Jessica Nunes says, who's the real icon, Undertaker or Sting? Oh, that's a tough one. That's actually a very, very tough one, because these guys, geez Louise. You know, I don't think there's a wrong answer here, but if I had to pick, I'm a WWE guy. So I am going Undertaker, and I could list off a bunch of reasons, but honestly, I could list off a bunch of reasons for Sting too. For Sting. So like, if you're a WCW guy or a TNA guy or an AEW guy, I could honestly understand why you would say Sting over Undertaker. I think it's just because I have such a bias towards WWE that I'm going to go Undertaker, but even then, it's barely inched out. Guy Walker 3. What is your go-to brand cut finished cooking preparation of bacon? My brand of bacon, honestly, is just Kroger. There's Kroger thick cut. It's like a 3-pound package, and I will just go with that. Now, I actually have a Facebook page that is centered around bacon, and I tried to do like bacon reviews, and I went and bought this one brand called Blue Ribbon. That was actually really good. I was like, whoa, this is way better. I thought all bacon was bacon, but no, Blue Ribbon probably was the best, but because Kroger brand is cheaper, I always just go with Kroger brand. And then I would say I like thick cut. I like it to be a little floppy in the middle, but crunchy on the end. My thought process is this: if you have to flip your bacon more than one time, you're just playing with your food, my friend. Tracy Woods, this is a long question, so I read it. I'm going to paraphrase it. First off, how did you come up with your name, the channel name? Honestly, I just wanted, I don't know. I was like literally looking for something wrestling. I thought about running the ropes. I just came up with a bunch of things and everything was used. So I thought, well, I want it to be wrestle. I can't do wrestle talk. I can't do wrestle this, wrestle that. So I started looking at moves and a chop, just a chop. It was popular. So I went with it. However, your next critique is the fact that you say that you search for the wrestle chop and you get a bunch of videos on chop. So you ask, would I ever change my name? And yes, I would. Problem is, I really enjoy when everybody calls me Chop. It's like weird when people call me by my actual name now. I never intended for you guys and you gals to call me Chop, but once you started, I was like, yeah, that's kind of cool, and I really enjoy it. I literally get a kick out of it. So if I were to change the name now, I wouldn't you guys wouldn't call me Chop anymore. You gals wouldn't call me Chop anymore. So I am definitely not opposed to changing the name of the channel in order to get the name out there. Because what if my name be so synonymous with like Ric Flair's chops and Gunther chops that's the reason why I don't get put into search engines. So whatever it takes, but I have no idea what I would want to do, because I love that you guys call me Chop. And if suddenly I became Wrestle Foot, I don't know, would you guys call me Foot? Hey, Foot, how you doing? And then you also say how your daughter watched War Games with you. That's amazing. I wish my kids watched with me. They're 13 and 11. They don't like wrestling. I'm a total failure as a father. How can they not like wrestling? Ugh. Kai asked, what is your favorite wrestling t-shirt of all time? Mine is either the Purple Macho Man shirt or the old school WrestleMania logo shirts. My favorite wrestling shirt of all time is the Mankind smiley face with the mask on it and says, have a nice day. Holy cow, I wish I had that shirt. It costs too much money though. You try to buy a vintage wrestling shirt, they're like $80, $100. I'm not paying for that. The favorite shirt that I have right now, because I do have a lot of wrestling shirts, I usually buy them on clearance. If you don't know, I buy shirts for like $5. I try to buy in bulk. I'll go on eBay, or I go on, the end of the year or Black Friday. WWE.com does clearances and stuff. So I'm always kind of checking those out. And I got a shirt. It's The Rock's grandmother with The Rock off to the side. For some reason, I love that shirt. I thought it'd be hilarious. It'd be hilarious if I had The Rock's grandma shirt. And so when I bought that, though, that made me then go and buy other shirts. So the reason why I have so many shirts on this channel is because of The Rock's grandmother. I thought it would be hilarious to own that, and then I just thought it'd be hilarious to own every other shirt I could get for $5, $6. So that's there. I've actually got another package of like 15 shirts that I just bought, and I'm going to open them on Patreon. L. Fishy says, when do you think the honeymoon phase ended when Triple H took over? For me, it was Netflix. It was Netflix, the first episode. I remember thinking, I just did not like that first episode for some reason. And there was good elements to it, like the CM Punk and Seth Rollins match was amazing, right? But it was just like full of celebrities. They rolled up Drew McIntyre, but The Rock just dropping the final boss gimmick, which was so amazing, and to this day, my favorite version of The Rock. When they dropped that, something just like, I don't know, I didn't fully know at the time that the honeymoon was over, but to me, when I look back, for me, that's when it was. Najib asked, do you have any other hobbies besides wrestling? For example, my other hobbies is fishing. Well, I used to love comic books, and I used to love to write and stuff like that. I love being creative. Now that my creative juices are flowing again, I would love to do that. However, there's just not enough time in the day. I'm a dad. I have a day job, and wrestling, while yes, is a hobby, I'm trying to make it into a career. And the YouTube channel, the videos, they just take forever to edit and stuff. I do have an editor, but I've had to drop down from letting him edit like... He was editing like 5 videos a week for me, but I can no longer afford it. This video is going to take an hour to film at least, and then about 2 hours to edit. And it's just, I don't have time for hobbies right now. If I can ever make this a day job, maybe I'll get a hobby. Ducky of Doom says, what is your favorite championship in WWE, past or present? I'll tell you my top 3. We have the Winged Eagle, the $1 Million Belt, which isn't really a title, but I still love it, and the Intercontinental Belt that the Ultimate Warrior held. Just call me. In your opinion, what is the most overused move in the WWE today? For me, it's super kicks. They used to be a legendary move, and now it's just standard for many wrestlers. I'm going to say the Mexican Destroyer, actually, which is a Canadian Destroyer, but I remember when Kevin Owens did the pile driver, and it was such a big deal. I thought it was amazing that we were making the pile driver to such this awesome, devastating, career-threatening move, and then Penta would just like pull out a Mexican Destroyer every single match. And honestly, the Mexican Destroyer seems more deadly than a pile driver to me. And the spear too. For a minute there, everybody was using the spear, and I hated that. Roman and Braun Breaker are the only two who should be using the spear. And then we do Fresh and Fly. Does Cena win his final match this Saturday? Nope, he doesn't. Sorry, it took me so long to get to this video. Then we have, he also says, Fresh and Fly also says, not a match. What is your favorite John Cena moment? Not a match, but like a promo battle or a return or a win. Well, when he won his first championship, that was cool. When he returned at Royal Rumble, that was cool. But those are like the go-tos. I would say his entire Thugonomics run was just brilliant. And I loved his rise to the top. When he became the rapper John Cena, I remember watching very vividly his first appearance as Vanilla Ice and thinking this was so lame, and yet, okay, I'll stick with this. So, rapper John Cena was just so good. And then when he came back and did it against The Rock, yeah. And he even came back and did it against Elias. John Cena, just the rapper John Cena is so good. So good. Every time we got to see him was such a treat. But one of my favorite moments is when John Cena says, nice speech, kid. And I remember when he did it to Roman Reigns. And Roman Reigns blinked. This was the big dog Roman Reigns. And Roman blinked during a promo, and John Cena said, I'll wait. Like, it's called a promo, kid. Like, oh my God. He eviscerated Roman Reigns. Loved it, loved it. So, yeah, there you go, boys. There you go, gals. Those are my Q&A questions. My A's for your Q's. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll do this again in a couple weeks. I try to do it once a month, and I'll, sometimes it takes me a minute to get to it, but I will get to it. See ya. Bye.